Welcome back to our YouTube Tools FFMPEG project. The last video was a live stream where I tested out some new items. And the last video before that was with using a FIFO pipe between FFmpeg and FFmpeg. Originally, the continuation of the FIFO pipe was going to be the next video, but with the lack of success from that, I'm going to go back to that later on. I still plan on using the FIFO pipes, but what I've done with these scripts eliminates what I was trying to do with that FIFO pipe. But it still may be used for other items. So what we're doing here is we're creating a system of scripts to switch from one input to another to continue streaming. And that's what I tested on the live stream. So let's take a look at some of those scripts. I created a X6 comp file, which is going to be a very simple 1 or 2 digit configuration file. I made a intro video, or it could be for any type of video. I was originally using it for an intro to start the live stream, but it can be used throughout. I had attempted to use it for, like I have done before in previous videos, where I took the intro and went straight to the X11. That was a problem, and the problem was with the X11 grab, so that still needs to be worked on. A loop, so it keeps looping through until we are done with your screen. I have the microscope, I have the webcam, and I have the menu selection. So let's take a look at these. So the first one is the loop. So I have 2 defined variables, a will continue, which will be treated somewhat like a Boolean value, even though there is no types with these bash scripts, and an input selection, where it will select what we want. We're going to do a while loop, which will do it until the will continue is not 1. So if it's a 0. And just a little note which hung me up a little bit is that to make sure you have spaces on both sides of the brackets, otherwise it won't evaluate this condition correctly. And then we have do, and we're using the read command to pull in that X6 conf file, which I will show you shortly. So that will take in that one value into the input selection. And we could do this a number of different ways, but we're going to use the case. If there's nothing in that input selection, the will continue will go to 0 and the loop will terminate. Same thing is there's an actual 0 in that comp, so you can set it to terminate. And then for whatever other values, and over here I can put this in some type of default, but I was just going through, so this could always be optimized, but have 7 different options that it can select, and it's going to run that select script. And then it ends the case and ends the loop. What I could do here is I can add maybe one of those video selections and have it like terminate to a video, like a goodbye video or something like that. But you could play with this however you would like. So now we are on to the select script, and it takes in that first argument, which is $1, and it runs another case. And I could combine these two together as one script, but I kept it separate just so you could see what's happening. So again, if no argument, it tells you there's no argument, but that shouldn't happen if you're coming from the loop script, but you can run this independently. The number 1 is going to use the X2 script, and I've put the bin bash at the top of all these, and I've actually made these executable. We can get rid of that, so we can make all these directly executable. So the X2 is the script that we use with the X11 to do the full screen. I was trying to do a partial screen with my testing on the live stream, but this is a way to do the full screen X11. Number 2 is the intro video. Number 3 is the webcam. Number 4 is my microscope. Number 5 is the RCA video capture, which I do not have finished, so this is still pending. Same thing with the HDMI and the break video, so that's if I need to step away from the computer, or if I want to add something here like a explainer video that I've made previously, so I would throw in like, oh, take a look at this video, or it can be the termination video, but that hasn't been created yet, just this intro video. Now let's take a look at some of those other scripts. So here is the webcam, and this is very similar to the input device one we've done. I've added this little option to add the value of the stream key to the variable, so I don't have to keep pulling that out of and making two different scripts for showing you how this works. And I've initialized the value of that variable just so there was a value in there. It's just force a habit to initialize values when you create them. And all this could be omitted out, and I still haven't found a way to really set the video device. It's based on, after it boots up, where it gets mapped to. That's a problem for a later date. So when I was doing this testing, it was video 0, was the independent webcam, not the webcam that's on this laptop, which is horrible. We have the output frame rate, which we're still using, and probe size, the input device. All this is very common, very similar to our previous ones. This right here seems to be the best way to get the bitrate correct. It's not something that's critical, but YouTube was warning me both when it was too low or too high, so we're setting it at that. And then the frame rate, and I'm using RTMP instead of RTMPS. Both were working, but I was having better luck with the RTMP with it not causing any buffering. And the microscope script is pretty much the same thing, except for, and again, it's still video 0 because I was doing these as different tests. So everything is very similar or almost identical. And I could use this script, and instead of the V input device, I could have had this as an argument, or I could have had just put a number, and that number will correspond to the video input. Again, something to do later down the road. With the microphone that you're actually listening to me now was the same microphone I used for the live stream, and with this audio filter, it seemed to work the best. And again, the bitrate, I just changed it. It was at 1 megabit. I'm changing it to 3 because that's the most closest to 2.5. That I wasn't getting it yelling at me that it was too high or too low. And here is the video input script. I am leaving the input frame rate and the output frame rate here because I will need to enter it in here, I believe. The issue I was having with the video was not so much the frame rate, it was the key frame rate. I need to get the key frame rate below 4, and that's something I'll play around with in a future video. And just to take a look at that x6.conf file, I have it as a 0 just to end it. I could have made a more complicated file and had it multiple lines, because then I could use sed or something to that effect to feed it into read. But this is easy because on another terminal, I could just as easily say echo 2 to x6.conf, and it will change it on the next iteration. If I would send it to the correct variable, it would. So I have made scripts to do this using Zenity, and that will be one of the next videos. That will be using the GUI interface, which I've been testing with Zenity. And the other thing that I have been trying to figure out is how to terminate each instance of FFmpeg so it can continue on the loop with the new settings. The most ideal way to do that would be to send the termination signal, so I can say kill and the process ID, except for without having to search for the process ID, I can do kill all MPEG, and it's not running right now, but it does give me the message that it terminates correctly, so it doesn't do a hard cutoff. I just do the kill all, and I am playing around with and searching through the documentation to see if there's a better signal to send. So those are items for future live streams. As I'm testing these, I'm going to try to do a live stream each week as I do each of these scripts. So as I was testing this one, I did the live stream, which was yesterday, I believe. So I will put a link in the description and a pinned link for that video. And then go ahead and subscribe so you can see when these videos are coming out. I will try to schedule them a little bit further ahead. I did that with like a 2-hour break or a 2-hour period, which was only supposed to be an hour, but I had some trouble setting this up. But it's worked nearly flawlessly. The 2 issues that I had, like I said, was the first one was with the intro video where it wasn't linking up, and now it had to do about the resolution and getting it to sync up, which I'll play around with that. The other one was with the actual video with the keyframe rate buffering. One last thing with the keyframe, I didn't scroll down far enough earlier, is I added a sleep command. I added that sleep because of the buffering issue, so it has enough time to clear out everything after it, because I ran into an issue where I ran the video and then ran something else and the stream just didn't link up, so it gives everything a little bit of time to really sync. This seems to be, again, working very well. Gonna go ahead and clear all these scripts, and the status of this is recorded. Now, if there's anything else that you want to have me throw in there, let me know. Throw that in comments. And I hope to see you on a future live stream. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.